Did you have a cellmate?
No, I had nothing. I was in a two-person cell, but I had nothing. It was just cold and empty.
So
and
no good conversations?
Nothing. I would have loved having somebody in there with me. I could at least talk to somebody.
Unless they were maybe a guy that had a warrant out for the arrest for fitting the description of a guy who just murdered like a family of 12.
I mean, if they put me in a cell with somebody violent like that, they dumb. But also, I'm gonna bring that dude to Jesus. Watch me.
Here we go. Hey, hold my beer.
Rage Beef Jerky is a sponsor of the Chubby Buddies podcast, and they have been so generous to give to you by giving you a discount code. If you go visit them at www.ragebeefjerky.com at checkout, all you got to do is use the promo code Chubby, CHUBBY. And if you are in maybe the 5 states they're located in, or the 400 plus locations that are either Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Missouri, or Arkansas, you can check them out that way, but you can also get a discount code just by visiting them at www.ragebeefjerky.com, and at checkout, use promo code Chubby. But if you have a $50 cap, make sure you get that free shipping over our discount code. We don't get a kickback, but I think the free shipping is arguably the better discount. And but if you have like maybe 1 or 2 packages, maybe some meat sticks, maybe 1 or 2 packages of beef jerky, I think our promo code is going to help you out with that.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Oh, it's
You're
so
the math wizard.
You're right. At a certain volume, the free. Well, actually, no. The nerd in me has to point this out. The 15% discount is the better deal until you get to the volume where free shipping is valuable. But There will be a point afterwards where the 15% discount does become more valuable.
That's why I asked the math nerd.
So I would say between $50 and $80, take the free shipping. Above $80, go ahead and take that Chubby discount again, because it's the better deal at that point. So
you heard it here first.
If you're snacking a little or snacking a lot, then you want Chubby Buddy discount. Otherwise, just take the free shipping.
Touche. But again, that is www.ragebeefjerky.com, and at checkout, use promo code Chubby. Rage.
Get your jerky on.
So how you been, man? Like, this is episode 57 now. Episode 57.
Oh, my goodness. We're 1 away from DT. Let's go. Ooh. That's exciting, man.
And Super Bowl 58. Let's not forget the shirt. You guys see you're repping the Super Bowl 58 shirt.
I am repping my new Super Bowl shirt. Let's go. You're the champs. I love it.
Do you have all 3 of them? Do you have all 3 of them?
Not all T-shirts, but I've gotten some sort of gear each time the Chiefs have won. Like, I have a hat for last year's Super Bowl, and then I think from 2 years ago I bought. I don't remember if I bought. It was either a hat or a hoodie. I can't remember.
I just didn't know if you were jumping on that. I'm sure that you could probably find a Super Bowl of all 3 of them, just because it's been within the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But you got to get the quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
I think a shirt matters.
This is so soft and comfortable. That's part of why.
Is that like the moisture wicking?
No, but it's just really like good soft cotton, like really well done. So I just really liked it. It's comfortable.
Well, I know Jordan, he has a ton of Chief shirts. Why isn't he here this week, Joshua?
Man, Jordan breaking my heart. Okay, so here's what happened, right?
He's breaking your heart?
He's breaking my heart, okay? Well, I guess it's not his fault. Here's what happened, okay? Christine apparently had a dream. And, I mean, logically, I get why she would have a dream like this. I mean, he can get a little footloose and fancy-free sometimes, if you know what I'm saying. But
yeah.
Christine apparently had a dream that Jordan was cheating on her. Not with a girl though, with Red James. Okay?
No.
Yeah. So he's banned from the podcast. He's not allowed to come on here and talk about Red James or anything like that. And from last I checked, she's just like, they've been having a lot of dialogue and a lot of conversations about is he allowed to talk to Red James? Is he allowed to, she's keeping some safe boundaries. So, here's praying that she starts having different dreams.
So she's laying down the fact that she's his foreman.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so good.
So
That was
Jordan,
just right off the dome right there.
When you're out of the doghouse, we'll see you again. We love you, buddy.
Yeah, and Red James, I'd hate to be around Christine when she has a bad dream. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. I mean,
and he's going to be Leavenworth.
Red James is an attractive dude. I get where she's coming from.
It's that red, luscious beard.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
How you been? Like, I know that you've been trying to get that house up and ready.
Trying to, man, just working away at it. It's going good. Like, I feel good about it. We've been doing a lot of like landscaping and stuff. I want it to have like that curb appeal. I want it to, like, when somebody pulls up, I want it to do for them what it did for us. When we pulled up to this house in 2018, it was radically different from everything else we had seen. It was spacious. It was open. It was beautiful. It needed some work, but it captured the dream of us having a family in here. And we did, for the past 6 years, we've done that. So now, as I'm selling it, one, I want to make sure we get good profit from it. I want to make sure I get good money, that what I invested into it was worth it. But at the same time, I also want this to do for the next family what it did for us. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's also caused me to be a little too meticulous and a little too probably anal about it, but I'll get it done.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I would say the only thing, and I'm just being honest here, the only thing about your house that I did not like, and you know what it is that road.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's the only thing. Other than that.
That road is like driving on trench warfare, man. It's
my Lord.
You need tanks with armored with roll tracks.
Yeah, you need a howitzer, legitimate howitzer to get through that place.
It's rutted and bad. Well, we're at the top of a hill. It's a rock, like a dirt gravel road, and when we get torrential downfall here in Missouri, it just cuts through it. Like, Missouri rain is no joke. Like,
no. And then if you're traveling that road at night, you could get stuck.
I bet, Mike. Tell them about your experience with that.
I didn't necessarily get stuck. I just stopped going because I was afraid I was going to keep going over. Like, it was like, was that a ditch that I was in?
So to be clear, on either side of my road down the hill is a good size, I'd say probably 2-foot drainage culvert on either side. Well, it's really just on the right side. It's not on the left side.
Well, as you're coming in, it was on my left.
Yeah, so it's on your left as you're coming up the hill. And there's a curve to the road. And if you're not watching, you'll absolutely...
And it's dark. There is no light on that road.
There's nothing. And he just straight right over
and when you're driving to go see you personally, like, if you look off both sides of the road, it's like cliff, tree lines, a little bit of lake.
It took me a while to get comfortable with driving in Missouri. They are reckless with the way they do roads around here. There are curves and roads down here that have no safety rails that I am just baffled we don't have a high body count on these roads.
Oh, I couldn't imagine driving during like snow or like ice.
Nobody does. Nobody does. I need you to understand that, man.
You have the valleys.
Nobody drives.
School shuts down.
Stay at home. Everybody stays at home until the ice melts. As stupid as that sounds.
Man, I wouldn't do it, especially if you don't know the road. Oh,
I can tell you I've gone off the road a few times because of ice storms living here, and I never want to do it again. The worst one for me was coming down Joe Bald.
Back going to Brandy's house.
Back when we lived on Deer Park Circle, coming down Joe Bald Road, there's a hill that you have to come down. There's just no way around it. It's the only way down to the house. You come down that hill, and it was iced over. Quick icing this morning. I was at the church. probably by 10 o'clock, I was headed home, and it was already icing over. And I'm coming down that hill, tapping my brakes, just trying to do the gentle, slow glide. And I do the exact same thing you did, because they've got a 2-foot culvert there on the side for water passage. And I do the exact same thing. I cross the center line, go into the other lane, and just down into that culvert. And I'm like, but here's the thing. The other side was a barrierless cliff that lay with just trees and hillside.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Granted, I've only traveled that during like summertime, so I didn't have to worry about ice. But it still makes your stomach a little uneasy if you're not used to like looking over both sides.
Bro, going
and seeing
down
nothing
that
but
hill
trees
with no control of my traction and just trying to do every maneuver that I know how to get the car to move. I was no, thank you. I don't want to be in that place again. So
speaking of driving,
perks to moving to Florida is it's going to be more like Kansas driving.
With a little more phobias to be worried about.
Just got to watch all the puddles and make sure there ain't no leather puppies in there.
And check your toilets, bro.
Check your toilets.
Yeah, check the toilets. I've seen some videos, man. Snakes just slithering up in the pipes.
Oof. Scary.
Can you imagine you having to go to the bathroom really bad after like Taco Bell Tuesday or something? And then boom, you lift that lid and
poop in the shower. Bet. I don't care how gross it is. I poop in the shower. That lid would stay down.
Oh my God.
I would have already pooped myself, let's be honest. So it's really just cleaning up at that point.
But how bad of it is it going to be if, like, say, Casey or Sky has to use the bathroom and they run into that issue? They're never going to use the toilet again.
They would be like, I'm never going to the bathroom again. I'll hold it.
Oh, man.
Scary stuff.
Speaking of driving, I rode with my dad down to Topeka for him to sign his paperwork to retire. Oh, went great. He's never driven probably east of Hutchinson very much, I don't think, because he thought it was really hilly to go to Topeka. And I was like, you haven't seen nothing. I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, man.
Because he kept like, I love my dad. No shot at him. When the speed limit says 75, you don't go 75. Do you?
No, not usually, no.
I go at least 82.
Yeah. 5 to 10 over. 5 to 10, somewhere around there.
I go 5 to 7. I mean, that's my rule. But no, he was going 75. I was like, oh. But he was confused as to why he was passing people. I was like, I'd be passing you. It's like, oh, man. Like 75 in a 75 is like, people are going to get mad at you. Especially if you're obviously driving in the left lane.
Which lane was he in?
Well, he is a very straight driver. So if he's not passing, he's not in the left lane. That's one thing that you can say that he's going to do. But
I'm not mad with him. If he's doing 75 and he's in the right lane, I'm good.
Yeah, but it was hard. I was like, I wanted to say let me drive, but I was like, nah.
I'm gonna be honest. I have days where I go the speed limit. As crazy as that sounds.
Like, is it because of the day, or is it just because you're not paying attention?
It's because I don't care that day. I'm not in a rush, so I'm not worried about.
I'm not in a rush either. I hate being behind like semis, or I hate being behind grandma. And today I was in the car with grandpa. It was just, but no, I mean, we had a fun trip. He did retire. He signed his papers. He retired as of Thursday of last week, March 1st, or is that Friday? What is today? Third, fourth?
First was Friday.
Okay, so he is retired as of Friday. So he no longer has to show up for the man and collect a paycheck. He gets to sit at home and collect a paycheck.
So what's he think he might do? What's he considering now in retirement?
I don't think he's really thought about it. I think he's just chilling. He is just chilling.
All right.
He is doing what retired people probably should be doing. Nothing. Well, he's doing what he wants to do. Retired people should be able to do what they want to do.
Yeah, that.
And he's doing what he wants to do.
I think it's a foolish notion that when you retire, you just chill. Like, I don't think anybody realistically does that.
You'd be surprised. I mean,
Well, okay. I don't think anybody who wants to live realistically does that. Like when you
No.
just like quit doing stuff to chill, you
Right,
done.
but your chilling is going to be different than my dad's type of chilling. Your chilling would be like to maybe catch up on video games or read a book, maybe. My dad's not a book reader and he doesn't play video games.
right.
So, to each his own.
But if that's all I was doing for the rest of my days,
Oh, that would drive me nuts.
yeah, and that's kind of my point. Like nobody who retires just chills for the rest of the day. They find new hobbies and new things to get passionate about that they're free to do.
Yeah. Because
So
he
I'm
can
curious
do it
as to
and
what he might.
if he chooses. I don't know. I don't think he's really thought that much about that part of things. I just know that he didn't want to go back to work.
Sure. What do
So
you
now
think
he's-
he's going to get into? You know your dad pretty well.
I mean, he really never had hobbies growing up. Like I
know.
mean, honestly, like
That's
he
kind of
watched.
why it's so. That's kind of why I'm intrigued by it because I'm like I'm curious. All I've ever known your dad is as a prison guard. So now that he's not, what's he going to be?
I don't think I honestly, and this is coming from like just me growing up with him. I do not see him working for another large corporation of anything.
Sure.
He is
That makes
going to
sense.
be. He's going to be recycling stuff. I'm sure, like what his dad did. So he'll like strip wire and stuff like that. Recycle cans. That's what he's always been known for. But I don't know. I told him he should start getting into the mowing stuff since he has this badass rider. Like it's a standing like lawnmower. I told him he should like try to pick up like 10, 15 yards. Go mow.
There you go.
He might be good at it. I don't
He'd
know.
like-
He
he'd
has
like
to set
that.
his own schedule.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he doesn't really need money. Like his idea isn't to make money, just to
Yeah.
get outside. Like that should
Right,
be your
yeah.
ultimate goal.
And that's kind of my thought is like, what's going to be his source of bringing joy into his life and stuff like that now.
I don't know. I think it's really
Not
going to be hanging
necessarily
out with.
that work was doing that for him, but that like,
Right.
Like
he's
when
hanging
you
out with the
don't
wrong
have
people there.
something- Yeah.
Right. But
like,
no, I
like,
think he's.
He's going to watch this and be like, Josh, what are you talking about? Joy.
I'm hoping that he
Please.
decides to travel and like go somewhere.
That
Like,
would be cool. Could you imagine
go-
your dad traveling? I'm trying to
No,
imagine
not-
your dad as a tourist.
No, not traveling, but at least going somewhere to look at. So like go like if he likes like me and him went to the Dallas Cowboys game like in 2011. Like I would like to see him like go out farther east to see what hills really look like. I mean Kansas hills are nothing to be. See what trees look like. And like I don't know. Like just do something other than like wonder what's outside there. Just go and do it. You can. Why not just do it? Nothing's holding you down now. Might as well just go. You ain't got a job to call into.
I think it'd be cool. Like I think it'd be fun to go like hit up Yosemite and stuff like that and see some of those places that you've
And
never.
he's lived in Wyoming for a long time, so he's used to seclusion. So
Yeah.
like there's nothing in Wyoming to say it's much to look at other than the wilderness and the nature part of things. Like there's not much in Wyoming or Montana or anything like that, but there are places like Yosemite in those areas. You got what is that in Montana that has like the fault line and stuff? It's like a giant volcano. What is that? Is it Yellowstone?
No. Where's Mount St. Helens? Is that Montana?
Is that Mount St. Helens? Yeah, it has to be because
I think-
Yellowstone is based on Montana, right?
No.
I thought it was a ranch in Montana.
No, yeah.
I've never seen the
it's
show.
not.
I just know it's a dormant volcano that erupts like every 600,000 years or something.
Oh no, you're talking about the Yellowstone.
Yeah,
caldera.
Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah, it's called the Yellowstone Caldera. I've
Caldera.
never. Yeah, I don't know that, but other people just refer to it as the Yellowstone supervolcano.
Yeah, it's like the largest volcano in America.
And yeah,
And
that's Montana.
But
That's not Mount St. Helens, though. I was off on it. Mount St. Helens is Washington, I think.
Yeah, Oregon and Washington probably.
Yeah, I think so. Because that one was like 1980 is when that one erupted.
Oh, really?
81 or something like that. Yeah, dude,
Oh, dang.
let me tell you, there's all sorts of interesting research that we've learned from that eruption.
Count me out. Just like snakes.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
good.
going to say, I'm not going down that rabbit trail because nobody else is interested but me. But there is some really interesting.
Well, no, I'm just saying I would never want to live in an area that could be like, kind of like Hawaii. Like, you never know what could happen.
Scary from like so many people, like a lot of people were killed by that explosion. And just like the records of how quickly the ash spread and stuff like that is pretty nuts.
Every time I think of like a volcano erupting, I think of Dante's Peak. Like, it
that
was a great movie. It was a good movie. But like, not a lot of people really, like, it's not a real volcano. They were paying homage to, I'm assuming probably Mount St. Helens.
Yeah.
Like, it was Dante's Peak is not a real thing.
It's funny. In that same vein, do you remember, and I can't remember the name of the movie. I want to say it was just called Volcano.
Oh, with Tommy Lee Jones.
Where like the volcano erupts in like downtown LA or whatever.
Yeah, there's Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good movie
That was a good one, too.
That had Anne Hesh in it.
Really?
Anne Hesh was the EPA lady that came in. They called her in, and she's the one that said that the heat coming out of those tunnels or in the sewer system was the heat of a volcano. So she went down there to find out. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that. Like
that's 90s. The one that has the dude that's walking through lava to the train,
and he throws the guy off of him.
That was such a crazy. I remember being
that was Volcano,
like, blown away by that scene.
That was a good movie too. Like they haven't made many volcano. I would say the biggest volcano movie that they made would probably be the earthquake one with The Rock, and that wasn't really a volcano movie. It was more of a.
You talking about Moana?
No, come on, man. What was it called? It was
San Andreas. But
San Andreas.
That Moana line was good.
It was good if you'd seen it. I've just never seen Moana.
You've never seen Moana? Oh man, that takes the whole joke away. Oh,
I know that he sings in it. That's about it.
Bit. I'm disappointed.
I love The Rock, but no, like, doesn't the San Andreas vault have like volcanoes under it? Or is it just plates that are shifting?
Line. I mean, it's one of the many tectonic plates that we have that shifts and causes earthquakes.
See, natural disasters scare the shit out of me, man. Like tornadoes, they don't scare us. They don't scare you and me because we were around them. They're like, they ain't hitting our place. And still they start hitting our shit, and then we're like, oh, we got to get down. We got to go.
Right. It's like, oh, they are hitting us. Let's get in the basement. We'll be all right.
Like tornado sirens.
One's taunting it and saying, oh, it's not going to hit us.
Yeah, well, like tornado sirens didn't like pique our interest to go get safety. It was when we started seeing shit.
Goodness, I can vividly remember as a child, every time the tornado sirens went off, we went to the porch.
Yeah.
That's where you go when the tornado sirens go off.
But is it different for you since you actually were in the middle of a tornado in Joplin?
No. As ridiculous as that sounds.
And you got injured too, didn't you?
Because let me be clear, Joplin was so radically different. Like having grown up in the Midwest and been by storms all my life, I can very vividly tell you, I remember driving back from Springfield and seeing the storm and just saying out loud to Heather and my parents saying, that looks like a mess. We should not go into it.
Right.
I mean, you could just tell by the darkness of the sky at 5 o'clock. Okay. We're talking in May, 5 o'clock. Should still be bright out. It is dark as night in a section in front of us. And so we ended up bypassing Joplin and went to downstream, stayed on the outside of the storm, still got hit with plenty of storm. And that's where I got the concussion, is because I was dropping everybody off at downstream, parked the car and was running in. And it was so wet that I slipped on the way to the entrance because they had really smooth concrete, and I smacked the freaking back of my head.
Yeah, I remember that. But that goes to say, like, tornadoes don't scare us, but like earthquakes and shit, like when Kansas started having earthquakes and shit, like that creeped me out. Like,
but I can tell you this much: if I walked out onto the porch and tornado sirens were going off, and it was as dark as it was in that moment, I'd be headed for the basement. Like,
same here.
I think what it is we grew up with enough experience to know what's a danger and what's not.
Right.
And so we're not intimidated by a warning. And in fact, Heather, she doesn't laugh at this, but she finds it weird that I critique the way we do tornado systems now. Like, it bothers me that a warning is issued to an entire county rather than to cities within the direct path. I think it causes people to be less aware when a tornado is actually endangering them.
Yeah, because I can only remember hearing sirens when there was a tornado spotted on the ground within so many miles of us.
To your location.
Yeah, within
idea.
so many miles.
Right, within so many miles. Nowadays, and basically what's happened is what used to be a tornado watch, is now a tornado warning. And what used to be a warning, what used to be a warning is now a watch. And what used to be a watch is something we would have never even addressed.
Tornado watch is sirens now.
Yes. And
it used to be tornado warning.
Back then would have just been, hey, this storm is capable of producing a tornado, so keep an eye on it.
Yeah. There's a wall cloud in your area.
A tornado watch now is this storm may become capable of producing tornadoes. Right. And then once a tornado can be produced in a storm, it becomes a warning. Yeah. It's not a warning when it's on the ground, but rather...
And that's mainly because of Greensburg, I would say. Greensburg and Joplin.
Greensburg was pretty insane.
It was wild.
Yeah, if you go back and look at
sucked the meteorite that was in the ground out of the hand-dug well, all the way out.
Yep.
Crazy.
Whole town got leveled.
Yeah, now they have usually the only thing standing in a town after a tornado is grain elevators and prisons.
Wasn't it a church? I think there was still a church still standing in Greensburg.
I don't know. And if it was a church, it's usually there's limestone wall churches, like a prison would have. Pretty wild. It's pretty wild to think that the safest place you could be during a tornado is a prison. And the whole town's turned green now also. So they're all into
that was a big thing that they did when it got wiped out was turn it into...
Greensburg is green.
11 people killed in that tornado.
Yeah. Luckily it wasn't more because they had tornadoes all night long. It was warning after warning after warning.
Again, it's neither one of us are saying that tornadoes are not dangerous. Let's be very clear about that.
They're very dangerous.
What we're saying is having grown up in the Midwest, having grown up in Kansas, you're so accustomed to what the weather does that you recognize what's dangerous and what's not.
It's like a hurricane for people in Florida.
I would imagine
people in Florida have the same feeling we do for tornadoes, I would say.
I'd imagine they know it's either batten down or bail out, depending on where it's headed.
There are warning signs for tornadoes and for hurricanes. Usually are when the water's being sucked in away from the shore. That's tsunami.
That's tsunami. Well,
but can't a tsunami happen during a hurricane?
It's not necessarily tied to it. It's actually more tied to earthquakes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. You learn something new. But hey, I got a question for you. And I was thinking about this because I was in a training class. Or not even a training class, it was a training course for work. What is it in today's life that makes you feel old without waking up in your store? That's a feeling of feeling old.
Right.
What makes you
what culturally
feels old?
Oh man.
Because when I say mine, I don't want you to get it the wrong way, but when I hear it, it's oh my Lord.
I know this is dumb, but
can't be dumb. No doubt.
It is. And it's such a small thing, but it's the first thing that I can think of right now. The fact that when I say I'm imitating making a call, I'm going to do this every time.
Yeah.
Nobody, this
call
isn't
me.
A phone anymore. Yeah, call me.
Call me.
Right? Like this. 100%. Yeah. We know what this means. Nobody under us knows what this means.
Could you imagine picking up chicks like that? Call me.
So, like, in fact, I remember I saw, I think it was a TikTok or something, but somebody like had a kid pretend you're making a call, and the kid goes like this, and I'm like, what's? And they're right. Like
Yeah.
this is now what it means to make a
It's
call.
the
And
way
I'm
you
like,
hold the
"Hey,
phone.
like this is making a phone call."
Because there's
So-
nothing to grip with these fingers. And
And in case, for those of you that are just listening to audio, I'm doing the old, cowabunga, the thumb and pinky out with the ring, and
like the
holding up
Hawaiian-
the mouth. I got the
like
receiver.
is it like
Yeah,
the Hawaiian
it's the
wave?
receiver of your phone. I got up to my ear in my mouth, and I'm talking into it. It's like, hello,
Now you're like-
call me, bro. And now they're all like holding
Call
like
me.
a brick to their face. Yeah. Or hang on. Beep. Just Bluetooth it.
That's I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
now mine.
All right, let's hear it, Bobby.
Now I mind you, like this is because like the people that I work with are now like we hire people who are 18, right? 18 and older
Okay.
can now work in the prison, right? When we have a
Half your age.
discussion,
I want to point that out. That's half
What?
your age.
it's yes.
18 is half
Okay.
your age.
Yes,
That's
I
what
know.
love.
I know.
I'm so excited.
Now, not only does that make me feel old, like whenever I hear that, like, oh, I was born a year before you graduated high school, that's a little bothering. But like this one is like probably because I was young when it happened. We were young when the whole discussion of 9/11 comes up,
Mm.
and like people can say like, do you remember where you were at? And like the
Yes.
kids that are in the training class now are like, I wasn't born. It's like, what? Like that bugs me. It's like we are letting people work here that didn't know what 9/11 was until after they got
I
into school.
love that your standard is they have to have the trauma from 9/11.
That's just an assumption too. It's like,
Right.
what do you mean?
That's-
Everybody knows where they were at. It's like when we were
That's
talking to our
history for
grandparents,
them, man.
JFK. It's like JFK assassination.
That's a footnote in a textbook to them.
Wild.
It's all history.
And that was 2 presidents ago. 2
yeah.
presidents ago.
Hang on.
Bush, Obama,
Obama,
Trump.
So 3.
But you can't count Trump because
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
yeah, it was 3 presidents ago with Biden in office now.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, 3 presidents. That's still crazy. It's bizarre to me. And when people say like I wasn't born yet, I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh yeah, we didn't hire people that like lived through 9/11. And also when they say, yeah, I was a year old when you were graduated high school, it's like, what, dude?
Is that like a gut punch to you? Just
I literally am like, I could be your dad. Like that's literally how I feel. It's like I could be your dad right
that's
now.
the funny thing. I would love to find out that like one of them has a mom who went to school with us. That
Yep.
would be hilarious.
2 of them. 2 of them.
No. Are you
Yes.
serious?
I work with 2 people that we went to school with their moms.
Yeah.
Well, one mom, one dad. And then when one of these guys, I think I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, right? No, I was listening to T95, Todd and Tyler. The kid walks into my office as I'm listening to it. He goes, hey, my dad listens to this. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I was like, what do you mean your dad listens? Like, you mean you listen to this? He listens to the radio, like, right? He goes, no, Todd and Tyler. Like, that's all he listens to. Great. I was like, how old's your dad? He goes, 39. I'm like, oh.
Oh God.
So we were sophomores. In high school when this guy graduated high school.
Funny. We probably played football with that kid.
Yeah. He was a senior when we were sophomores. And I'm like, no. But yeah, we went to school. Like, that makes me feel old.
It should
Like-
make you feel old.
When I'm working in a correctional facility with people who I went to school with, kids, bothers me. And
That's
if
a
it
good
doesn't
reason
bother
to feel
you,
old.
if
That is
it
a good
doesn't bother
reason.
you, there's a bigger question. It's like, how does that not bother you? Like that job's not normally meant for kids, is what I'm getting at.
That's so wild.
Yeah,
You're doing
18.
an adult job with people that are barely adults.
You're getting 18-year-old kids telling grown-ass men who murdered somebody what to do.
I'm just trying to envision like thinking I barely nowadays qualify myself as an adult with authority. I
Yeah.
would not want one of my classmates' kids having that level of authority.
And the crazy thing is, like, not only that, not only should, like, I wouldn't want my kid to work there. Like, yeah, I can't force him not to work there or apply there. But I also asked my dad how he felt about it before I even applied. The, like, mentality that I had when I was 21 was like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight. Like, that's not what prison is. Like, it's it's Walmart. It's customer service. It's like, the nicer you are, the nicer they're going to be. So, like, the mentality that's coming through there, and plus they call in sick so much, man. Like, they can't keep staff as it is, but they also call in because they know they're going to get paid. And the like, no call, no shows. Like, what would happen if you no called, no showed at, how many jobs have you had in your life? You had Subway was your first job.
Yeah,
Subway was my first job.
Gosh, I want to say I've had 6, I think.
6, like, hourly wage jobs.
Yeah.
And you, after Subway, where'd you work?
Different. So backyard burgers, errands, sales and lease.
Okay, let's just say errands. If you no called, no showed 3 times, you ain't gonna have a job, right?
Yeah, I'd have been gone, dude. I'd have been
Not
gone.
no more.
Probably the second no call, no show. If the first one, if I could have passed the first one off as an emergency.
Back when I started at the prison, if you no called, no showed, you didn't have a job when you came.
Yeah, that's most companies' policy. A no call, no show gets you fired.
Not no more.
Really?
They could have up to 3 a week.
3 a week?
Yeah.
A week?
A week. Mental health.
Bro, what the? How are they getting?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I didn't use my
And the
cards
state
right.
of Kansas is paying for this?
Yeah. Now, I'm assuming that we aren't as blue as everybody thinks we are. Like, Kansas is just as much red as they are blue. I think this is, like, more than just the state of Kansas. I'm just saying. Now, I don't think Texas is doing things like this, because Texas takes their corrections to another level of seriousness. But, like, when I heard that, I heard this just in conversation as I was passing by, and I was like, no. So I had to ask, and he was like, yeah. Like, if they no call, no show, we call and check in on them. I'm like, what? I was like, they don't have to call in? He goes, no. I was like, what? He goes, after the third one, they get called into the superior's office. They get talked to, still have a chance of having a job.
That's insane.
Right. I'm like, if I didn't have to call in with an excuse as to why I'm not going to be there, you have no idea how much easier that would have been on my life. Like I was thinking of different shit every time that I wanted to call in, and now I don't call in, so it's a different story. But like when I was younger, I'll admit I was dumb. I was young and I was dumb, and I loved drinking. Okay, that was just what I did. But I had to wake up, come up with an excuse, and have a reason of why I wasn't going to be there.
So the difference between your story and theirs is you had to come up with excuses. Now they don't have to come up with excuses.
Granted, they don't have to lie, is what I'm saying. Like, they no longer have to lie. Like, they don't.
So is it a good thing then, Bobby? Is that what you're getting?
It depends. The glass is half full, okay? Because like I still think that like the creativeness of coming up with a reason as to why you weren't going to be there is half the pleasure. Like, if you could come up with a solid reason of why you're not going to be at work, like, can you think of a solid reason that you had in the past of why you didn't show up for work or why you were late even?
My
the
favorite
best?
one. It wasn't work. Does that count? It was class.
Just for being late or not showing up. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
What's the best one?
The best one I've had is that I was in jail.
Oh my God, I love that one.
Bro, it is by far my favorite one.
That is my favorite story. I forgot all about it.
It got me a redo on preaching my sermon, so I got a re-chance to preach my sermon, and it got me excused for missing too many classes that semester because I wrote it
my
on
all-time favorite job story.
We had the committee. Okay, there was a committee. I went to Ozark Christian College, which is a Christian college, great college, but they're pretty high standard, and so they have what we affectionately call the
It's so
Skull
funny.
and Crossbones Committee. And what it was is the school had a policy you couldn't miss more than 2 weeks worth of classes, or else you would automatically be assigned an F, and you had to appeal that grade through this committee. And so,
Man.
after a big story, I won't go into all the details, but suffice it to say,
This is definitely, before you keep going, this is definitely worth a whole episode of the Chubby Buddies podcast. Like, it is hands down my favorite story.
It's probably one of the most interesting.
It's your top
moments
two
of my life,
for sure.
For sure. Yeah, it's one of the most interesting stories I have to tell, for sure. So the short version is I had a speeding ticket. I was late paying it, but I eventually did get it paid. They misfiled the payment, and because of that misfiling, there was a bench warrant out for my arrest. I was in an accident, got arrested, was completely unaware that I had a warrant out for my arrest, sat in jail for 3 days, and then ultimately got bailed out by my mom, got back to college. There's so much more to the story. It really is.
It's a book. It could be a
funny.
show.
It's funny. But when everything was said and done, I got back to Christian college after having been in jail, and I walk into my preaching class, and while I was gone, one of my friends who had found out that I was in jail told the professor that I wasn't going to be able to make it because I'd missed I think Tuesday's class, and on Tuesday I was supposed to preach a sermon. I was supposed to practice a sermon in front of the whole class. Wasn't there, and the teacher looked up and said, "Has anybody seen JD? Where's he at?" They're like, and a couple of kids in the class at this point knew where I was. Didn't want to say anything, didn't want to get me in trouble. And the teacher said, "Well, he's like, you don't miss the day that you preach. He better be dead or in jail." And my buddy Josh in the back goes, "Actually, I think
funny story."
And so tells him that I'm in jail. And so I come back to that class, and the whole class ends up just making a whole scene of it and being hilarious. I walk into the classroom, they start singing an old Christian hymn. So my chains are gone. I've been set free. It was so funny.
Man.
But yeah, so I submitted that I had been in jail. I had falsely been in prison. I even think I made a whole little spiel and compared myself to the Apostle Paul, who was in prison multiple times throughout the gospel, and made some case about how God had
was it a comical relief type thing
of Christ?
Was it a comic relief type?
Oh, absolutely,
spiel?
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to make light of the fact that I had been arrested in what I had felt was a pretty accidental and harmless way. Like, no,
your mom would
Christian
say
college-
otherwise. Your mom would say otherwise.
No Christian college wants to say, "Hey, we have a student that went to jail." But I feel like of all the reasons that you can go to jail, a misfiled payment is totally a reasonable thing.
Or if
And
you
I
met the
never got to
description of a
anything
murder or
like
something, that would be just as good. Like
Probably.
if you met the description of the like somebody who is doing something and you fell in that description, they're like, "You look just like the guy that we have a word APB out."
Mistaken identity.
Yeah, it's like what? No, I'm just saying, like, that would be the next one that would make the story better.
Yeah. But
so
that is my favorite excuse, that I was in jail. And so that's the reason I missed too many classes.
Well, I don't have anything to top that. Okay. Like I have, and like I said before, I lied. I'm a sinner. I 100% admit it. Okay.
Cool, brother. That's the first step.
And the most current, yeah. And the most current one is I took my dad to Topeka, and he filed for retirement. On our way there, I got a little hungry, and I talked my dad into stopping at Hooters. And we stopped, and we had the best wings ever. Like
The best wings.
Hooters has the best wings. Nobody could ever steer me the wrong direction. Okay. So we're sitting there. We had an hour and 10 minutes before we had to be there. We sit there, we eat, we start talking. We forget what time it is, and it's right at 2 or 1:30 even, because that's when his appointment is 1:30. So I'm like, oh shit, now I feel bad. And the lady told him, and he tells me this after the fact, as we're driving to where we need to be. He said, yeah, and she said not be late. I was like, you tell me this now? So I'm like, all right, so is there a number I can call? And he's like, yeah. So I call it. This lady answers. I'm like, yeah, hey, me and my dad, we're not from Topeka. We're from Hutchinson, Kansas. We're driving there. Our GPS had us rerouted like 3 different times, and we're going to be about 7 minutes late. And she's like, oh, that's fine. Just drive safe. And I was like, and then I hang up with her. And he goes, well, that's weird. She told me not to be late. And I was like, yeah, they're going to say that.
They don't want you to be late, but
we walk in, right?
You to die in a fiery car crash. So
right, we walk in, we sit down with the lady, he signs his papers, we leave, and we have to go get his birth certificate, which is another crazy thing. You know how easy it is to get a birth certificate?
Yes.
No, it's easy. It's crazy easy.
I know. All you need is the numbers and stuff, right? You don't have to.
No, we went to a kiosk. He typed in where he was born, and I think you and him were born in the same town. Were you born in Leota, Kansas?
Yeah, I was born.
Where were you born? Oh, you were? Oh, okay. Did you live in Leota?
No.
Where was that farm at?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn you brought up Leota. I didn't. I found out numerous things about my dad that I didn't know. But anyway, we go to there. But I went into the bathroom before we went back, and I realized I had hot wing sauce on my lips, like on my mustache. So I'm like, oh, wow, how long has that been there? Because I told the lady, I was like, hey, we got rerouted, and I totally walked in with like buffalo wing sauce on my lips. She didn't say anything.
Guy just came from me. He lied.
Yeah, I 100% lied. But I also didn't know when somebody says that they have a meeting at 1:30, like that could be anything.
No, it usually means at 1:30, Bobby.
But like when you like, would you think that if you had to sign papers, do you think the meeting means you have to be there at 1:30?
I think if somebody says meet me at 1:30, I'm going to be there at 1:30, Bobby. It's not.
He didn't tell me that the lady said don't be late. Like she was don't be late.
Did she say meet us at 1:30?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't on the phone. I just said, hey, you hungry? And he's like, yeah, I could eat.
Did you just assume at any point in the day he could go sign this paperwork?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
See, I didn't realize that.
See, but anyways, we had wings. I got him. He'd never been to Hooters. Great food. It always is good food.
Best wings, right?
100% best wings. And they have this dish called Lots of Tots. Oh, fire. But yeah, that was my spiel. But that wasn't my best. I'm sure that I came up with several different ones. But everybody's had that I'm sick or I can't leave the bathroom, blah, 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 blah. But nobody... Oh, go ahead.
I've heard some of the best ideas are like if you ever get a flat, take a picture of it so that you can save it and use it as an excuse later if you need to, stuff like that.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
It's a strategy involved.
But you have probably, hands down, out of the people a part of us, you have the best excuses to why you were either late or didn't show up. So
it's my favorite. It's a great story.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, 3 days in jail seems like a lot of time. I can tell you it was the most boring time in my life. I sat on a cold steel bed and watched CSI reruns for 3 days straight.
I took a cold
shower the very first day and then said, hell no, I ain't never doing that again. And then I ate. It was like school cafeteria food. I was like, dude, this feels like a worse version of what grade school felt like.
It's like time out.
Like the least you could do is like get a chalkboard in here and have somebody teach me some math tables or something. Like this is boring.
They ain't in there for being smart, bud.
Well, clearly, but I'm just saying they
could
turn that time into a little bit more productive if they give them some educational tools.
Did you have a cellie?
Huh?
Did you have a cellmate?
No, I had nothing. I was in a 2-person cell, but I had nothing. It was just cold and empty.
So
and
no good conversations?
Nothing. I would have loved having somebody in there with me. I got to at least talk to somebody.
Unless they were maybe a guy that had a warrant out for the rest for fitting the description of a guy who just murdered like a family of 12.
I mean, if they put me in a cell with somebody violent like that, they're dumb. But also, I'm gonna bring that dude to Jesus. Watch me.
Hey, you're like, I'm gonna pray for you.
I'm praying for you. I go, let's talk. Let's talk about.
Yeah, that would be the best conversation.
I would have been arrogant enough at that age. Oh my God, I would have been arrogant enough to tell some dude who just murdered 12 family members, like, hey, let me pray for you. Like, I think you need the love of Jesus in your life.
My ass would have been like scooting down the bits like the whole time. Like, oh hell no!
I want to talk to you about the book of Matthew. When Jesus says, "Love thy enemy," let's talk about what your family's done. What your family had done to you. You
committed like the worst commandment, "Thou shalt not kill." It's like, bro, 12.
It's like, bro, Jesus just talked about this. What are you doing?
You killed 12 people. That's how many disciples that man had. It's like, come on. How'd you have the strength, first of all? It's like, come on. Oh, good times.
Good times. Well, guys, we are very excited. HCW just wrapped up a phenomenal show, Road to Legacy in Wichita. It was great. Now they are headed to Leavenworth for Saturday Night Devastation, the local Legends show. Let me tell you, it's going to be fantastic. A lot of favorites are coming to that. If you know First City Cheese Market and their fandom, they're big diehard Red James fans. And let me tell you, Red James will be there having a wonderful match against the carnivore Remington Roar, the man who eats everywhere he goes. And let me tell you, we don't know for sure. We're going to find out. You got to show up to the local Legends show to find out if these titles are being defended. But we can tell you this. Remington Roar is the current champion, and he will be facing Red James. Whether that's for the title or not, we don't know for sure. But if you show up live, you will find out. Let me tell you, it will be a fan favorite match. Another exciting one we've got, Ray Leon, the illustrious Ray Leon. Sorry, I know he will be very offended if I don't include that. The illustrious Ray Leon.
I'm kneeing you.
That man, so he is fighting, I believe, a newcomer, somebody I haven't seen too much of, a kid by the name of Scott Tyler. So Scott Tyler, best of luck, man, going up against the freaking workhorse.
He might be a Missouri native.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get to see Scott Tyler there at the show. He is facing Ray Leon in their match. The next one coming up, we get to celebrate, man, one of the coolest things. We talked about this last week on the show. One of the coolest things to see was Jose and Bobby, get that last name for us again. Make sure we say it right. Gerardo. Okay. Jose Gerardo. But Jose, man, he just a phenomenal workhorse of a dude. Just a man who is passionate about wrestling, you could tell. You can see it in the way he works for it. He is our brand new Independence champion.
And the fans help that out 100%.
Oh, man, let me tell you, he popped so loud. It was so big when he won, and he is over, let me tell you. But he will be having to fight for it very quickly. Not sure, again, if this is a title match. But our current Independence champion is going to be fighting his first match after getting that title belt versus Tommy Too Good. If you've seen Tommy Too Good in action, you know he is a show. He is entertaining, to say the least. But let me tell you, he's also a threat in the ring. So, Jose, I hope you've got your boots on tight because get ready to defend, baby. You got that championship. Now it's time to defend it. So
you beat 3, you can be 1. I'm just saying.
Too Good's an animal. When the pressure went, see, here's the thing about a fatal a 4-way match. Nobody ever accounts for the fact that you've got two guys that sometimes can take distraction away from you. In a solo match, it's just you and one other person. So Jose has to be the best he can be to take on Tommy Too Good. So we get to see that match. That should be amazing. Lots of fun, lots of energy, probably some pretty good spots, stuff we'll be talking about afterwards. But let me tell you, it is going to be good. Very, very good. I know we've also got a really cool tag team match coming up, okay? And this was pretty exciting because if you ever do, if you like watching tag team matches where you've got male and female competitors, this is one of those matches, and it is going to be awesome. You've got Mindy Grace, one of the easiest, hardworking wrestlers that Billy's got, female or male. Let me tell you, she shows up, she gets work done. I really love seeing her in action. But Mindy Grace and Chance Kerrigan, you know Chance Kerrigan of most recently the Handgun Dan beef. So Chance Kerrigan and Mindy Grace are going to take on Stormy Renee. Oh, sorry, let me be clear. It says Macho Hottie, Stormy Renee, and the realist Calvin Aldridge. So Calvin Aldridge showed up. If you guys didn't catch it, he was at the VIP match in Wichita and showed up. It was a phenomenal match from what I understand. So now we get to see these guys in action. So Calvin Aldridge, Stormy Renee versus Mindy Grace, Chance Kerrigan, mixed gender match. It's going to be fantastic, okay? Should be lots of good action, lots of good wrestling, and then we'll see who comes out on top. From what I know, Stormy and Calvin don't have a ton of history together. So Mindy Grace and Chance Kerrigan
they're actually on together. So I believe they have a little flame going on.
Well, I don't want to comment too much on the behind the scenes stuff, but behind stage stuff. But
Chance said that they were a thing.
News? Oh, I didn't know.
He was when he was on. He brought her on, the lovely Mindy Grace, who gave him his.
Sorry, Mindy did show up in the video. That's right.
Hey, at least I can get the names right. All I'm saying.
Hey, there you go. At least you're not calling her Mindy Dangerous or something.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But
what other matches you got?
Like we said, good matches coming up. Again, another good tag team match that'll be coming up is Ricky and Kargar versus Kyle King and Atlas Armstrong. Let me tell you,
Ricky Wingrave to be specific, just so you know, in case it's not on that.
Ricky Wingrave and Kargar. Obviously, and then Kyle King, we've seen him wrestle before. I'm not sure if we've seen that.
Or is he Kyle Long?
Right. That's right, Bobby. That's right, Bobby.
One of my mini mishaps on the mic.
Mishap on the mic. That was so good. Oh gosh,
he's a good champ. He played it like a champ.
Oh yeah, fantastic. So, and then of course, another match coming up that you want to watch is Handgun Dan is fighting his opponent Maurice King. Maurice King.
Oh yeah.
Not sure. Yeah. I don't know much about Maurice King. I can tell you this much: we've seen Handgun Dan in action. He is a handful. So Maurice King, I hope you're ready to come to fight. It's going to be good. So we'll see him in action. That'll be a good show. And then, of course, the final match that we're going to talk about is a triple threat match. Okay, 3 people in the ring. It is Balasong, it is the Prodigy, Aaron Helms, and it is Paradox. Okay, big triple threat match. Can't wait to see how that all goes down. Red, White, and Better Than You, Aaron Helms, he's going to make sure he makes his presence known in the ring. But he's got 2 smaller but spry guys to go.
Paradox for sure. Balasong is he's a wiry individual.
You're right, absolutely. But that should be a really good match. When it comes down to it, I think Helms can stand toe to toe against those guys. I think I'm gonna call Helms to take that one. We'll see how that goes down. Or
is it going to be kind of like the whole 2 can take the eye off the hand?
That could be. Could be
Balasong and what's his face in the ring.
How funny would it be if Aaron Helms loses this, not out of his control? That would be hilarious.
Yeah. Like knocked out of the ring.
Yeah, knocked out of the ring, and then a pinfall happens while he's not in there. Oh, love it. Then he throws temper tantrum. That's the funniest.
Yeah.
When Helms is upset, that is the funniest.
Oh, yeah. If you hear Red, White, Better Than You more and more.
Oh, my God. So good. Well, yeah, that is the Local Legends show coming to Leavenworth. It is going to be a great time. That is March 9th. Oh, my gosh. That is coming
this Saturday.
Wow, that is this Saturday, March 9th.
So if you guys hear this, it's Thursday. When it comes out will be 2 days after that.
2 days, y'all. In 2 days, we will see you at Leavenworth. VIP, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
They don't have a VIP. They have a premium only. So
Premium
this
only. Okay.
at Leavenworth at premium only. So that's the
Gotcha.
5 o'clock admission,
Gotcha.
and then so on.
Okay.
I did
There
read
you
that.
go.
So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
no, you're good.
But there you go, guys. Local Legends, the Leavenworth show this Saturday. Do not miss it. It is going to be a blast. I will be there. Chubby Buddy truck, the Chubby Buddy truck will be there. Not the truck, but us representing the Chubby Buddy truck, selling biscuit bombs. So we hope you'll come out. I know we're planning on bringing biscuits and gravy, obviously, because that's a classic. We're going to bring those strawberry shortcake ones back. And then I think we're going to bust out buffalo chicken again and bacon cheeseburger.
Ooh,
So those will be the 4 flavors that the Chubby Buddy truck brings. So we
that'd be
will see
nice.
you guys with biscuit bombs aplenty. We hope you enjoy, and we hope we see you there.
And don't forget to follow HCW on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They also have a YouTube, but also, most of all, follow them on their Patreon. Their
Subscribe
Patreon is going to let you
They
watch
put
all
$5
their past.
starter kit.
Yeah.
$5 to sign up
$5.
and start following them. And let me tell you, you get all the videos, all the story, all the good matches, great camera angles too. I've honestly been impressed. I was looking through their Patreon feed the other day and just like impressed with how it's coming together. So,
And I
Make sure we
think they're
keep up
doing
the
live
great work.
commentary during the matches, like through that is also a key thing of what you get before they actually bring in the live footage.
there you go.
That's pretty cool. But that's HEW. But hey, still no NFL yet. I need to count how many days till the NFL kickoff. You think?
It's
Just
a
name
lot. We've got
just
combine
guess.
stuff at least.
Yeah, that's
Days
going on this
till-
week, or was it last week?
It was this week. Like
Days till
somebody broke
NFL.
the combine 40 record.
40? Like,
Yeah.
Really?
Xavier Worthy, I think is the kid's name. Ran a 4.21 officially, which broke John Ross's 4.22 record.
You ready?
Yes.
As of today,
Hang on. My guess is 185.
did you Google it?
No, I'm dead serious. I just guessed right here.
184 days, 12 hours, 54 minutes, and 33 seconds.
Let's go, baby.
Half a year almost.
Ah, I love it. That's great. See, this brain's good for some things. I don't know what yet.
Actually,
but-
it's less than half a year.
yeah,
So,
just
what, 180? No, it's almost right under. It's just over just under
I
half
think
a
that's
year.
why it shows 185 because that's right at about halfway mark.
It's pretty
Because
close.
182.
I mean, if you add the
182
hours, the minutes, and the seconds, it's 185 days.
182 and a half is halfway. So 185 is just
And
past
this is a
that.
leap year. So
Mm.
we had 29 days of
There
February
it is.
this
See,
year.
I calculated it. This brain's good for something.
But anyway, 184 days, 12 hours, 53 minutes, and 43 seconds. NFL will be back. How many episodes is that? How many weeks is that?
Hang on. That is, oh gosh, don't make me do that. Hang on. 7.
Funny nerd.
This is, it's such a mix up. Okay, 20.
Do, 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 do,
27?
do,
Right at about 27.
Dang.
27
So,
would be 189.
so to round this about, it's about 28 episodes
26
until we get to
weeks,
start
yeah.
talking about weeks of football.
Yep.
Dang.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe more like 25.
He rounded up.
We know how it goes. No, I'm saying like you and I.
Oh, yeah.
I know
Hey, hopefully
us, and I
Jordan.
know me. I know there will be some weeks where I'm like, I can't. So
Yeah. But have you
But-
seen any rumors going on with the Chiefs at all? Like, I haven't clicked on many.
read
I've seen that
two.
they let go of Valdez Scanley. Is that true?
Yes, that is
Okay.
true because it unlocks like 12 million for us. And no offense to MVS, we've got guys on defense that we care more about signing, which is what I'm hopeful for because like Drew Tranquil, I'd love to see us re-sign him. I want to see us give Chris Jones his money. I want to see us either pay L'Jarius Sneed, which we did. If I caught it right, we did franchise tag L'Jarius.
Oh, I didn't see.
We've given him permission to seek a trade, which means we may be trying to work out trade stuff for him. So that would make me sad if we lose L'Jarius, but if we get a good trade out of it, it may be worth it.
I think Chris Jones is staying for the long run.
I'm confident that Chris Jones wants to stay. I think he's even willing to take a pay cut for it. The big one for me, there's two. I've heard rumors of a trade for Justin Jefferson that if it does go that way, it's too much.
The
We're offering
Vikings,
way
Justin
too
Jefferson?
much. Huh?
The Vikings wide receiver, Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson?
Yes.
He's franchise tagged with the Vikings.
Again, franchise tagging just gives you
Unless
better
they didn't
leverage
give
for
them,
trades.
unless they didn't give him that clause.
Well, but again, a franchise tag is almost usually an indicator of one of two things. Either they have no desire to let the player go, or they have a desire to get a good trade from the player. And so
Do you think they desire to let go of him, though?
Again, I don't think we desire to let go of L'Jarius Sneed. I think it's a business decision where ultimately they have to say either we can pay him this much or we can allow him to go seek a trade, franchise tag him, and then get good product back from them. It's a tough business decision.
That's a risky business decision.
It is because you're trading a current asset for future assets. You're risking that this talent. And here's the thing. It's also the player making that risk too, because they're saying, hey, I'm valuable enough now that this team that's trading for me is buying my talent right now and trading the value of their future to another team. So
because when the Steelers franchise tagged their running back that the Chiefs ended up playing with for a short time, when they franchise tagged him, they made it to where he couldn't talk to any team, and he chose to sit.
Right. And that is one of the two reasons that they will franchise tag. And it's why people are it's why the franchise tag is kind of a debatable issue that's out there. But the two most common uses of that are, like you said, one, to lock a player in and prevent them from being able to do anything. But again, what you see real quick is if a player gets it done once, they'll usually play through it. A second time, they'll sit. They'll sit and wait out their contract and make a trade or something like that. Because, yes, they're paid at a one-year deal, but it offers no future security whatsoever.
It offers just guaranteed money.
Right. It's guaranteed money for this year alone. Yeah. And meaning if you have a season-ending injury, or even if you just have a bad year, or like an injury in the year, like an ACL tear or something,
you're still getting that money.
Your contract's over, and you'll get your money for this year, but your contract's over, and now you have to go out and prove to a team that you're not a liability with an injury, and it shortchanges them. If they've got a 3-year contract, they've got 2 more years to recover and showcase that they are as gifted as they say they are.
Right.
So there's a ton of leverage and stuff that comes into it.
Yeah, I did see like a rumor that Mike Evans was also in the talks, but he also said that
I was going to say Evans and the Evans. What it sounds like the Evans trade that would be better because Evans is a free agent.
Yeah, and he wants to stay with the Bucs for sure. I know that I read that, but like I could see him succeeding so well at the Chiefs. It's not even funny.
Same, but
I think any wide receiver would be good.
I definitely see that Kansas City could pick somebody good up in the draft. They've
got several wide receivers. Being pick 32 is still a good pick for the Chiefs, given they've got so many things out there.
Yep.
Wide receivers is one of them. So, but
a lot of wide receivers in the draft this year.
One thing I'm intrigued by this year so far is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, he's still under contract with the Broncos.
Right.
And if they choose not to play him, he does not have to stay at that team, but they still have to pay him. So any team that wants to pick him up only has to pay the league minimum of $1.2 million.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Why would you shoot yourself in the foot like that?
Well, ultimately, for them, it's just clearing roster space.
Right. But you don't want him playing against you. So like say the Raiders get a little like Jimmy and they're like,
bro, if they're literally letting this guy walk, they don't see him as a threat enough to care.
But look at his stats from last year. He had amazing stats. Look at his stats.
I'm
Promise.
not disagreeing. I still think Russell Wilson is a threat. Like, I think it's foolish for
check this out. Just use this as a possibility. Say you're in the wild card hunt, and it comes down to the Raiders and the Broncos, which is very likely, and Russell Wilson is playing against you and takes you out of the wild card race. But
that'd be hilarious.
But what I'm saying is like, who's the one going to be held accountable for that? The one who benched Russell 100%. Or the one who chose?
100% the idiot
GM?
who benched Russell. The GM.
Is it the GM or is it Sean Payton?
Again, it's just going to come down to, like, that's such a vague scenario that's likely not going to happen, man. Like,
but it could.
Could.
You say vague because, like, how many times have we seen it? I mean, you saw it with, who was that? Well, I guess you didn't see it within the same division. You did see it, though, with Rich Gannon and Elvis Grbac and the Chiefs. I mean, it did happen.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying, like, to me, Russell Wilson's, like, the Broncos don't want him. They've made that clear. So the question really just has to be, like, what are they going to do with him?
Well, they can't. They're not going to be able to trade him because nobody's going to want that contract.
He may just end up sitting as their backup.
I don't know. That's wild. I think that he could go to another team and just get paid the league minimum from that team and then get paid by the Broncos. That's wild.
We did that just a couple of years ago with, Antonio Brown, I think.
You guys didn't have Antonio Brown.
No, not Antonio Brown. Who am I thinking of then?
A wide receiver?
Yeah. We had him for 1 year, and it was because he was cut from, I think, the Patriots. And
are you talking about the Green Bay Packers?
Not Antonio Brown. Wasn't Juju, was it?
Juju Smith-Schuster? Yeah, because he left the Steelers.
But
and then he went to
he's
at the Patriots. No, he was a free agent.
See,
but he did go from the Steelers.
He had a receiver, a pretty big name receiver, for 1
Juju
year. I know Juju was one of the big ones we had. Specifically what I'm talking about is one of the receivers we had because he was cut from his team and we were paying him league minimum, but he had a contract that was way bigger.
Wild.
I gotta look it up.
But I do remember Juju because he left the Chiefs and then went to the Patriots. I'm trying to think of another wide receiver you guys had that was a big name. Anyway, you guys haven't had many. Your guys' biggest name is Tyreek Hill, hands down. And then Juju. You had a running back that was.
What about Sammy Watkins? Was it Sammy Watkins?
Sammy Watkins, I thought you guys had him on contract for 2 years because he was with.
We got the receiver that we did this with. We got him on contract. The difference is it's a split contract. We pay league minimum, and then the other team has to pay the rest of their contract.
Right.
I
don't know who that could be. Sammy Watkins was last two seasons ago is who you guys had. I think that was it was the year you guys won the Super Bowl.
If you know who this is, chime in, please, because I'm blanking. But we had a receiver, we had him on a league minimum contract, and it was the first time I had heard about league minimum, like as a strategy, like picking a guy up that somebody else's job and basically getting a great receiver for cheap because that team's trying to clear cap space.
Yeah.
So
man, it's crazy. But are they trying to clear? They're not clearing cap space.
Usually is what they're doing.
But if they choose to let them go, they're not clearing any cap space because they're still paying him what they would have paid him if he was still playing.
They still clear some cap space, though. That's the thing.
But all of Russell Wilson's contract is guaranteed money.
Okay, right. So we're talking like less than $1 million in savings. But the point is they have to pay that money either way. So they're making the decision to move on now. And even if they make $500,000,
I think he still has 2 seasons left.
Right. But even if they make $500,000 back on the contract, for them, they're already going to have to pay that contract out. So $500,000 back is $500,000 back. It's profit in their eye.
Well, I don't know how. Like Deshaun Watson, like if they ever decided to let go of him, they'd be screwed.
Do you see, like, would you have value, like, would you pay a guy $2 million to sit on your bench?
But that's not what we're talking about. Like I'm saying for the Broncos, this is bad for the Broncos
Right,
if they
that's what I'm
choose not to
talking
play.
about. For the
They're
Broncos.
not paying him $2 million. They're paying him $46 million.
Okay. So in his situation, because his contract was so massive, but that's because he was a star coming in. But okay. So what do they pay him these next 2 years?
I think it's $66 million total in 2 seasons.
And it's all guaranteed. There's no way around it.
No way around it.
Right. So in theory, then, what they can make back is probably just some basic like cap numbers that'll probably come in around like 500 to 600K that they get back from like cutting him from their roster, essentially. That's
I was way off, dude. I was way off. He had a 5-year deal worth $242 million. So he still has 3 years on this contract. So that includes a $37 million payment for 2025 that would become guaranteed if Wilson was unable to pass a physical. But he's able to pass a physical. They
won't bench him then, dude. They're gonna keep using him.
They've already said they're not playing him. That's what they said. That's what even I believe Sean Payton came out and said they were trying to separate ways with Russell Wilson.
Well, they ain't going to be able to do it.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to kill themselves financially. Like, they're only going to be able to pick up draft picks. That's it. Like, whoever they draft is all they're going to be able to get.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be able to trade for anything. And if he's playing against you, that is the worst possible scenario.
Bro, the Broncos are going to suck for the next 15 years because of this. I love it.
It's crazy. So that's why I knew that my numbers were off, but I wasn't sure how much. But $242 million for 5 years, and he's only played 2 seasons.
You're right, though, too. They're saying it like that. Russ is that
they don't want. But his stats say that you should want him. Like, so yeah, I would pay.
There's no reason not to.
So yeah, I would pay $2 million for him to come play for the Cowboys.
Again,
100%. And if you say otherwise, then you're an idiot.
I'd pay him $2 million to come play backup for the Chiefs.
I would pay him $2 million to take Dak Prescott's position. I would pay the $200.
Come on, Bobby, you're supposed to be a Cowboys fan. You're supposed to believe in Dak.
I'm a realistic Cowboys fan. How's that? Get out of here. But that's the one thing that I've been intrigued with since, I guess, pretty much they benched him. I'm like, man, what are they going to do with that? Because essentially, that's just
contract.
That's like letting go of Deshaun Watson and just paying him to not play. But because I don't see anybody wanting to pick him up.
Yeah.
Because of the baggage. The Browns took a risk and I think lost.
Talking about Deshaun?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Nobody wants Deshaun Watson.
No. He got paid because of a risk a team was willing to take, and I don't think it's going to pay out. But that's just me.
Don't think so either.
Anything else? What about baseball? How's your team doing in the preseason?
Man, I'll tell you what, it's exciting. Spring training is upon us. I'm loving it. It's good stuff. I say it's exciting. It's not really that exciting because it's all just warm up stuff. It's just 3 innings and you get to see people stuff. But one thing I love is it always brings out legends and stuff. So like, they made a big deal of Ozzie Smith coming to spring training, and that was cool because I haven't seen Ozzie Smith in a few years, and it just takes me back because like that. If you ever I obviously didn't get to watch it as a kid, we were too young, but Ozzie Smith when he played the Wizard of Oz is what they call him.
I think he retired in the 90s, didn't he?
Yeah. So again, like I said, we're real little, so I
you just weren't a fan yet.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was watching. I didn't understand the greatness yet. But going back and seeing the highlight reel, seeing how incredible of a defender he was.
Right.
Ozzie Smith coming to spring training, stuff like that's all cool. So
yeah.
It's building the hype for the season. That's what I love. I love building the hype for the season.
And that's what I dislike about the Cubs because with the Cubs they build the hype because they're so good during preseason, and then come season they just shit the bed. Like,
That's
we
Cubs
signed
baseball.
we
What do
signed
you
some
think?
good names. Like, we've signed some big names, but like usually in the preseason we're blowing teams out. It's like, man, we're gonna have a good year. No, that doesn't mean shit.
Love it. I love that moment in the season. It comes at different points, and in some seasons it's been rough because y'all have made it to the playoffs and have, given yourself that false hope. But I
Made it to the
love
playoffs
it
once
when you
since World
Cubs
Series.
fans hit that moment where dreams are crushed again for a year, and you realize it's another year where you
So
don't.
kind of like the Cardinals last year. I mean,
You know what? That was hurtful.
I'm just stating facts here.
I will remind you, we are a high caliber team that is just going through a slump right now. Okay. Yes, it's been since 2011 since we won a World Series, but
It's all right. There's nothing wrong
that's what
with
I have to
that.
say.
I mean, it's the World Series, the hardest. I would argue one of the hardest championships to win, for sure. Out of 30 teams,
You right.
I mean, one player. That's the one thing about baseball. It's still pure in the fact that like one person isn't going to change much about a baseball game.
No, but they can certainly give it a twist. Like one
Oh,
player can make a difference, but it doesn't change the game of baseball just because of one
Right.
player. Even
Right.
even a guy like Shohei. I
Right,
love
because he can't
you
play
look
every
at how
position.
incredible of a player he is. You look at how incredible a player Mike Trout was, and you say, okay, those two players are incredible. And then you look at the Angels, and you'd hear stat lines like Mike Trout hit 3 for 3 and 2 home runs, and Shohei Ohtani pitched a no hitter and 2 hits, and the Angels lost 12-4.
Yeah,
It was like,
sounds about right.
so that tells
about
you
right.
that even when you have all stars on your team, you're not necessarily like, it's still a team game. It's still tons of strategy, and having an all-star doesn't guarantee wins.
Facts. But hey, that brings us to our.
It helps
Oh.
when you got guys like Arenado and Goldie making plays. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I mean, did you have both of them? Yeah, you had both of them last year.
Oh yeah.
The only
Those
thing you guys
two
really
have
had to
been-
work on was your bullpen.
Yeah, our bullpen, and I think we've done a halfway decent job. I want to see them in action. I want to see how they do down the stretch. The first couple of months aren't going to show us anything because everybody's fresh. I want to see how they're pitching in June. That's what matters to me. Because when the heat of the summer comes on and our freaking bullpen's falling apart, we can't get a guy to close, that's going to piss me off. So, sorry.
That's where those weird trades play in. Is like, ooh,
Yes.
we picked this guy
Man.
up from where?
Baseball might be
Egypt.
one of the weirdest things to watch trades. Fun.
Oh yeah,
Actually, I brought this up to Jordan the other day. I texted it to him. Do you know? Here's a fun Cubs fact. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Who did the Cubs trade for a washing machine in a blockbuster trade with the Angels in 2015?
2015.
2015 traded this player. They traded this person
Traded
for
the person for a washing machine.
washing machine.
In 2015, that was right before we went. That was the year that we went to the playoffs, but didn't make it to the World Series. Was it a big name?
Yeah, he's a big name.
Did he play for the Royals?
No.
Also, he never played for the Royals. Okay,
No.
so it wasn't Chris Bryant.
No, you won't get this. There's no
Okay.
way.
Go ahead.
It's Will Ferrell.
That's
It's
dumb.
a comedian, Will Ferrell.
That's dumb.
I know. He apparently did this like at March 12th of 2015. You can see on the official MLB trade list, Will Ferrell gets traded by like 8 different teams, 3 of which don't even say what they trade for. One of them that does say what they trade for is the Cubs, and they traded a washing machine for Will Ferrell. It was all in one day. I'm sure it was just a publicity stunt, but it's hilarious that it's on official MLB.
And I'm sure they
feed.
do make trades like that because in Moneyball we saw like he made a contract with like I don't know how true it is, but like they paid for the soda pop in the clubhouse for like a year or whatever. Like I'm sure things like that happen in baseball because it can. They don't have a salary cap.
Yeah.
So It makes for good stories for sure. Yeah, we traded him for like a season tickets of like Flyers tickets or something.
It's great.
I'm just, like that would be like those are the stories that you want to hear about. Like those are the fun things.
Man. That's
like the
good.
washing machine. Like since it wasn't a player, it wasn't that fun. I was like,
Yeah,
what? Now Bill Murray, that would have been funnier if it was like Bill Murray. Or
Dude, that would be hilarious. But the Cubs would never trade Bill Murray. Are you kidding?
No, but like
Not
it would be funny. It would be a funny skit. Like, oh, we
Be a funny
traded
bit,
for
sure.
yeah. Like before we move into entertainment, that's something I do want to see. I want to see Bill Murray play Harry Carey in like. I heard that there was a talk about a movie with that.
Really?
So, I don't know how true it is. It's always
that would be great.
speculative.
I would watch that.
It was just the speculative like things you see on YouTube or whatever. I don't know how true it is. I also didn't do very much research to find out, but it would be cool.
I think your Harry Carey impression is one of my favorites. I mean, I guess technically it's your whose impression is that?
Will Ferrell's.
Will Ferrell's. Yeah, okay. Your Will Ferrell impression of Harry Carey is really good.
I mean, so much so. I don't know if you remember this, that the Genesis Health Club. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So much so that the Genesis Health Club guy kept calling my phone to let other people hear it because that was my voicemail. And I was like, Cubsway. If the moon was made out of cream cheese, would you eat it? I know I sure would.
I know I sure would.
I went as Harry Carey for Halloween one year.
Oh, so good.
I just couldn't find a good wig to like make it like wild.
Make it tussle.
So it was kind of laying down. My goal is to find that because I have the glasses to like really get that bob going.
Oh, so
it'd be
good.
fun. So anyway, entertainment.
Entertainment. Now, let's talk entertainment, man.
Where do you want to start? Because I've got a few things that I've watched. What have you watched?
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I want you to talk about what you watched because I'm intrigued by it and I'm really excited to watch it.
Oh, The Spaceman.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to like talk about it to where I give anything away because I think that's the nature of this movie is that like
no, but you're a good film critic, so just give me your review of it.
This is the best way to put it for anybody who hasn't ever seen it or hasn't seen it yet. If you were to take Castaway and merge it into What Dreams May Come, and that is how you get Spaceman with Adam Sandler. Okay. And the reason I say that,
you had mentioned in the previous talk that it wasn't quite as spooky, or maybe not. You said you felt like What Dreams May Come was a little darker, or maybe you didn't say darker.
Well, the plot is, or not the plot, the reason behind the movie is dark, right?
Okay.
Like that's what Dreams May Come is that the reason behind the movie and like his traveling throughout, like
wife dies, isn't that right?
She committed suicide, right? That has nothing to do with this, but it's dark. Yeah. And the reason for Spaceman. Yeah, the reason for Spaceman being dark is because he's in space. I mean, it's dark. So, like The Godfather, how we talked about how, like, the footage really set the tone of the movie. That's what this does for Spaceman. Cool. And that's where I get the whole, like, What Dreams May Come vibes is because, like, it's got that, like, trippy-esque type feeling to it because you start seeing things in, like, Castaway, like how he starts feeling that separation anxiety and he hasn't been around people in forever. That's really what you get from this. It's if you're an Adam Sandler fan, you'll appreciate it because Adam Sandler's known for doing crazy off the wall things, and that's what this movie is. But if you're not a fan of a serious Adam Sandler, I wouldn't suggest watching it, but I find it okay.
So do you feel this falls in the vein of like Reign Over Me, Uncut Gems, as far as more of a drama piece that
it's very much a drama piece. Now, it's not as much anxiety driven as Uncut Gems is, but it's also not as obviously Reign Over Me was based on like true story.
Yeah, it's very emotional. Very
it's not as emotional, but it has its moments.
Gotcha.
So I will say that.
I would assume that the movie's primarily about like isolation, right?
Exactly.
And hallucinations and stuff like that.
And it's not even really isolation as much. It's more separation. Like he's leaving his wife to go into space. And like it's telling that story. And that's where I get the whole What Dreams May Come things.
Do we get to hear any sort of version of Shatner's Rocket Man.
Shatner's Rocket Man.
Yeah.
The song?
As a soundtrack in the show, yeah.
Oh, I guess I don't know. Does he have a song called Rocket Man?
You know Rocket Man.
The song is Elton John, not Shatner.
Shatner has a version of it, though.
I've never heard that one.
You've
never
never
heard that.
heard Shatner's version of Rocket Man?
I have not.
Oh, Bobby, you're going to laugh so hard. You have to watch this video.
I'll have to watch it.
Shatner has a version of Rocket Man that is just freaking hilarious, bro.
I have not heard it. Like,
I remember.
I'll be honest with you, there's really not many funny scenes in this movie. Like, there's like certain things that like Adam Sandler says that's very Adam Sandler-esque, but the rest of it's pretty serious.
Yeah, it's a drama. Gotcha.
Yeah.
No,
But I'll have to look it up.
You need to. I remember, gosh, there was an old Family Guy skit about it, and it made me look it up, and I laughed so hard because Stewie like imitates Shatner doing it, and it's so.
I'll have to check it out.
You should.
But anything you've watched other than?
Oh gosh, babe, have we watched anything lately? John Wick. I got Heather watching John Wick finally.
Yeah,
that's pretty exciting. Man, I'll tell you
which one is she on?
She just finished 3.
Now,
So
ask her what her favorite one is so far, and put them in order 1 through 3.
Babe? She likes the original. She said 3's been really good.
So
What'd
she
you
would
think
rank.
of 2?
It was just slower.
Slower. It's methodical. 2 is so much storyline that it's not enough action. It's not enough.
I wouldn't even call it storyline. I call it gameplay. It's like you're setting up a playbook, and and we're watching it live.
Because really, 2 does such a good job of setting up the universe of the Continental. Of like it expands so much of everything, and really helps you come to terms with how big the table is, the high table is, and just like how broad their scope is.
And I read a comment saying that they might have given too much information into like all at once to where it kind of made people steer away from it.
I agree.
And I don't know if I would say that that's true, but I could see it.
So much is because if you watch 2 a couple of times, you really get a sense of where they're going in 3 and 4 with the story. Like that's one of the things I love about John Wick is it's like, yes, it's a great action movie, but it's really well written too. Like they create a culture and a universe in the story that they then build on in the subsequent films that really creates something tangible. I mean, the Bowery King, all of it really builds upon itself in each successive movie.
Well, apparently there's another movie that the same director directed.
Okay.
It's based upon a World War I like soldier. And I think it's called is it Sung Soo or something like that? But it's John Wick in World War One, essentially, from what I gathered. And the guy has 0 lines in it. Kind of like John Wick, he's got very little dialogue. It's usually yeah, or just something very short, like consider this a common courtesy. Like that's about it. Like that's all you get from John Wick.
Professional courtesy. Good.
If you remove this knife from your aorta, you're going to bleed out in 10 seconds. Consider that a common courtesy.
Professional courtesy. Because if you say common courtesy, then it's a dead giveaway to who it is. It's common.
Oh, yeah.
Who says?
Yeah. I thought that was one of the coolest scenes.
If he would have said common courtesy.
Yeah. That would be legit. Playing homage. I also watched, did you ever finish watching all of Shane Gillis' Saturday Night Live?
I did. It was good. It was like he did a good job.
They went hard. They went hard in the paint, though.
That's the thing. It's like Shane Gillis did what I expected Shane Gillis to do. So I wasn't surprised at how he do. I think I was surprised at how far SNL was willing to go with the skits. Like you pointed that out to me. I was like, man, like that's further than they pushed the envelope before.
And I wasn't mad about it. I was just like kind of taken back. Like they fired this guy for saying certain things, and you're letting him say all these things on your show.
Well, and then I heard after the fact that some of the stuff he didn't communicate, like he had communicated it with the right people, but not everyone. what he was going to be saying and stuff like that. So,
but I thought it was a really good, I guess, that they were paying tribute to somebody that they let go before really judging the book. Like they judged a book by a cover before they really got to know him.
Yeah.
I love Shane Gillis. I can't wait to ever see him live as stand-up. I would love to see him live. Like, I'm pretty sure that I would laugh my ass off. 99.9% sure. He's just good at what he does. But no, other than that, I didn't really watch much. I rewatched Reacher, the season 1 Reacher.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff that I missed in the first one. Like, I don't remember. I knew that his brother had died in the first one. Spoiler alert.
Tied to the story that was?
Yeah, but like I didn't know that like later down the road because I forgot that his brother was the one that was murdered.
Gotcha.
Like I think.
So you're like, he's here, but why is he here again? Yeah.
Yeah.
You forget that he's chasing down his brother.
Yeah. And he wasn't chasing down his brother. He didn't even know his brother was there. That's what I think kind of made me go, oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that's right. His brother did die. He went to the town because he heard a song in a diner. Like, that's the reason why he went.
But it was his brother is the one who had introduced him to that song.
Well, to that singer, and he said that he was from Musgrave, Georgia, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or,
and so that's why he went.
It was just a cool little thing. I'm really curious to see what they do with the third season. Like, I hope that they kind of play a little bit of. From what I gathered at the end of the first one or second season, I think they're going to bring in the first movie they did with Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm not 100%, but that's what I'm also kind of hoping for because I think he's just that good of a Jack Reacher.
Yeah, he does a phenomenal. Alan Ritchson does a phenomenal job as Reacher. So,
and him and Kevin James are going to be doing a movie together, a comedy movie.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah,
that'll be good.
I think Alan he's a lot he's very very much like Jason Sudeikis in that he can do many things and we just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we both know him as Blue Mountain State. That's what we know him for.
The funny thing is his acting career, I think, developed faster than he expected it to, because from what I understand, he didn't really take acting seriously at first.
No, he was a party guy.
It's only more recently that he's become a thespian and cared about acting. And
he's a really cool dude. Like, I've been following him on he's very passionate about
loves Jesus, man.
Oh yeah, you know he has his own like little church like thing that he does.
Think I don't follow Instagram church? I know. I'm part of that.
I didn't know.
I follow him. I love him.
I like his sobriety story. How he just said that him and his wife weren't going to drink this year for New Year's, and then it went in from 1 year to 2 years, and now they're like almost 15 years now.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Another cool thing is he talks pretty openly about his battles with oh gosh, come on. Bipolar. I think is what he said.
Yeah.
I think it's bipolar. Yeah.
And I can totally see that. Like, he's so like, I don't know. He's just, he'd be a guy to share a beer with. Well, I guess a alcohol-free beer.
Yeah. Have an apple juice with.
Yeah. But he seems like a very passionate guy about what he's doing now.
Absolutely.
But hey, that's episode 57, Joshua. I'm glad we were able to do it on a Monday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, dude. We'd find it all sorts of weird times to squeeze this in, but I love it. It's good stuff.
As long as I have time to edit, we're good.
That's what's up, man. And again, I'm grateful. Y'all, if you're listening to this, you should know, of all the Chubby Buddies, Bobby's the hardest worker, okay? He does all the grunt work on making this show good. So if you think it's good, he deserves all the credit. If you think it's mediocre, that's probably my fault. I'm sorry about that.
I wouldn't say I do much work. I do editing, and that's it.
He puts in the work every week on the editing. So shout out to you, Bobby. We love you, man.
I do my best.
Thanks for keeping us alive.
I do my best. But if you are listening, make sure, if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. Hit that like button. Shoot us a comment. And we'll for sure respond to it. I'm pretty good about that. So
yeah, we're still down to earth. We're not so full of ourselves that we don't respond to comments.
And if you want to hear more of Josh's jail story, please comment that, because it is one to not miss. Like, I should just have Josh record the story and then I just put it on YouTube.
Maybe we do need to get one out there. That'd be a hoot for sure.
But don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and I think that's it. And YouTube,
right.
of course. So, but
Absolutely.
also follow Rage Beef Jerky and HCW, our proud sponsors of the Chubby Buddies podcast. And we
And the
will see
Chubby
you
Buddy
next
truck,
time.
too. We'd love you to.
Oh, yeah,
to
and the
follow
Chubby
them
Buddy
along.
food truck. You're on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook,
Not on
Instagram,
YouTube
and TikTok.
yet. I think I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Okay, that's probably
Those
good.
3.
And don't forget to try your biscuit bombs.
Yeah,
And it'll be
come
back
check
in
it out.
Wichita, March 23rd. Oh yeah, March 30th. That's right, March 30th.
Yeah.
The
March
day before
30th,
Easter.
We'll be back in Wichita for what's the name of that show? Do you know? Last Chance.
Is it Last Chance or is it? I put it on the thing.
It's
here.
Last Chance.
Yeah, it's Last Chance. Yep.
Yeah, Last Chance. Because
I think I
it's
put it
the
on
one
there.
right before Legacy.
Yeah, Last Chance is the show right before HCW's WrestleMania event.
I wonder
Last
how Chance Kerrigan feels knowing that Billy loves him so much he named a pay-per-view after him.
Ooh,
Last Chance.
he did. Last
He did.
Chance.
He did. That's how I loved you, Chance Kerrigan.
Yeah,
He named a pay-per-view after you.
and I love you.
Hey, I love you, and I love all of you. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.